Hello everyone. In the last video, we saw the importance of GitHub in job search and what the interviewer tries to look in your profile. In this section, we will start with the basic ways to share code, then what are the problems associated with this, and how Git as a software helps in overcoming these shortfalls and effectively develop apps as a team. Myself, Rakesh Kothari, and let's get started. As a first step, let's think on how we generally share files between two people. It could be your movies, or songs, or any other documents. Normally, you would end up using a USB pen drive or maybe a Google Drive over the network. And we tend to follow the same practice for code bases too. I remember in our engineering, me and my friend, we were developing a very small web app and we used to share code using a pen drive. So we will take a similar example and try to understand the use case. Let's say you are developing a small application for your internship or your engineering project. In real world terms, let's compare it to this small house project. You are working individually and all is going well because you are working on your own laptop. Next step, your friend Mario gets excited seeing what you are developing and wants to help you with it. So, how do you share code? As a traditional way, you would end up finishing code and send it over to him using a USB or Google Drive. And every time you pass on the code to each other, you need to explain on what code changes you have done. So this is a normal scenario. If you are smart enough, both of you might develop different parts of your application and merge it at the end of say 2 days or 3 days. And if you have gone to actually this step, you would also have encountered multiple issues while merging. But still, all this works for a small team of two. And as you have noticed, communication becomes the main part. Now, let's say I see what you guys are capable of, and I want you to build a real world application for me. It could be a website like Amazon or a mobile app or something like Facebook. And I'm ready to pay a good amount for it. Now, the size of the project is large compared to a small house project, right? So, you would need a team to build and you would like to develop the application as efficiently as possible. That's where you'll hire people to help you with coding. So, when you are developing as a team, going with your old ways of sharing code will be hard because every time someone does a change, he needs to tell others about it. And tracking the code changes becomes a nightmare. So, how can we solve this problem? For that, we'll need a software that takes care of tracking what changes were done by whom. That software is called a source code management software. There are multiple source code management softwares. It could be Perforce, it could be SVN, or whatever this course is about, it is Git. And this is how it would look like uh, for tracking code changes. The code in red is the code removed by the developer, and the code in green is the new code. And we can also, the software will also tell who has done the changes. Now let's try to discuss another use case which Git tries to solve. Let's say you have a fresher or a new developer who joined your team recently. He is new to the team and he is still trying to understand the different parts of the existing code. One day he does some code changes, and lo behold, the website crashes. With Git and any source code management software, you can actually go back in time. In technical terms, you can roll back the changes done by the new developer, and this is called version control. And one of the biggest advantages of Git or a source code management software is version control system. So this brings to our first interview question, that is, what is Git? A Git is a source code management software. It's also a version control system. It will help you with tracking code changes and also rolling back. Git is actually well known because of its distributed nature. We'll come to this point in a future slide. So that was Git as a software. Now, since we are talking about sharing code, there needs to be a central guy who hosts this software. This central hosting person or the software is GitHub. We have a similar hosting services like GitLab or Bitbucket. A GitHub is the hosting web platform for Git. It also provides access control. That is, if I am the owner of the application, I can configure on who can see or edit my code and who cannot. So that brings us to our next interview question, that is, what is the difference between Git and GitHub? So Git is a version control software. It is distributed and it can track changes and you can roll back changes. And what is GitHub? GitHub is the hosting service. It actually hosts Git as a software. It has a good user interface, a web-based user interface, and it has access control. Now, let's try to go into GitHub and actually check these features firsthand. So I'll search for a React project. This is a project from Facebook and it's open source. So it's hosted in GitHub. So I'll get into GitHub and look for the React project. So if you see the top part, this gives the information about the contributors. So once you check the contributors, these are all the developers who are working in the project. Next, if you see, this is the number of code changes done by these contributors. And you can see the different version numbers of each. And if I click on any of the changes, you'll actually see the code changes done by each developer. So the ones in green are the new changes added, and the ones in red are the removed ones. Or it could be a modified ones. So that's the overall code changes which you can see in GitHub. So that's the high level of it. We will try to get in further classes. Coming to the last and the very important feature. Before Git came into picture, there were still other version control systems or source code management softwares like Perforce or SVN, also called as Subversion. One, it happened that these software were proprietary. That is, you need to pay to use these softwares. Second, they were hosted on centralized servers. That is, every time you want to sync your changes to the main code, you need to be online or connected to internet. So, Linus Torvalds, the creator of Linux operating system, built Git. And as he is known for it, he made it open source. That is, it's free to use. So most importantly, he created Git as a distributed software. That is, you can have a local copy of the whole code base. That means you can do the changes offline and push or upload whenever you come online. So Git as a software will take care of fixing these merge conflicts. You may ask, then why is GitHub or GitLab is charging a fee for me? They charge only for their hosting service. That is, if you have a private code base and you don't want everyone to see it, and other features which is not part of Git. That brings to our next interview question. That is, what's the difference between Git and SVN? So Git is a decentralized service. It's a third generation software, and you can keep a local copy of the entire project folder. While SVN is a centralized system where you need to be online to be synchronized, and it is an older system, and you need to be online always. We will cover a couple of interview questions before we wrap up. One is, what are the advantages of using Git? One, it's a free and open source software. It is fast and it's small. It is distributed, that is, you can keep a local copy of the whole code base, and it has an implicit backup, and it is secure. Final one is, how do you rate Git in terms of speed? It's very fast. The basic design goal of the whole software was speed and performance. And because you are doing all changes in your local, you have a speed advantage. And it is built with C language, and it is built to work on the Linux kernel. So that's the overall idea on why you need to use Git for developing an app as a team. So please feel free to comment for any questions around this topic, and don't forget to like and subscribe our channel. This is Rakesh Kotari signing off. Thank you.